Hello, everybody, and welcome inside Wilkerson Sanders Memorial Stadium in Rockwall. Tonight we have the Lady Hawks versus the Lady Jackets in a District 10 6A matchup. I'm Chris Curtis, Rockwall ISD Sports Marketing Media, and I'm joined by, I guess I was told, the not as popular Webb.
That's not a cool thing to say.
Glad to have Reggie Webb join us here in his soccer debut. Reggie, I'm going to work on that echo, I promise. Got to figure that out real quick.
Echo makes my voice sound more sexy.
There you go. That's what we're all about here on the Rockwall ISD Sports Network. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Reggie for a little bit of a pregame. We got about a minute 30 until we get this match going. Reggie, take it away.
Well, hey, to all our Rockwall ISD soccer fans, I mean, it's an amazing night. It's a beautiful night for soccer. It's a huge game. The I-30 Classic, Rockwall Heath versus Rockwall High School. Both teams competing for a playoff spot halfway through the season. Heath currently sits in third place with 10 points behind Forney and Longview. And Rockwall sits in fourth place going into this match. So it is a huge pivotal match for both teams tonight. Incredibly excited. I mean, it's literally a dichotomy between two teams. Rockwall High School is a senior-laden team, lots of experience, and have had a lot of success with that experience. But Heath High School is a team that counts a lot on their 9th and 10th graders. And despite the lack of experience, they've had an incredibly successful season. 9 goals for Heath going into this match, only 3 goals against, which is a huge, as a longtime soccer coach, that's a huge thing. It's the goals against that really tells you as much as anything about how high quality your team is. Rockwall High School going into this game, 14 goals against, 18 goals, or 14 goals for, 18 goals against. That just tells you they're hyper competitive.
Yeah, and speaking of the Lady Hawks, that echo is going to get to me at some point. Talk a little bit about how this team kind of mirrors what the Lady Jackets had, the last several years. Obviously, getting to the regional final, getting to the state tournament, something the Lady Hawks want to try to do in the future.
Well, I mean, when Melissa Garcia took the Lady Jackets to the state championship game a few years ago, it was a team that she had molded through their freshman and sophomore years. And I mean, that's a huge thing. As a longtime soccer coach myself, that's something that you realize you can't replicate. When you've got that talent in 9th grade and you've got that talent in 10th grade and you build on it and you mesh them into a working unit, that's what gets you over the hump. I mean, it's easy to make it, well, not easy, but it's one thing to make the playoffs. It's another thing to get over that hump and push yourself into the area finals and the regional semifinals and ultimately into the state tournament. And that's kind of what Neil Piper is doing right now at Heath. He's got a group of young girls that are incredibly talented and through their first year or 2 years have been incredibly successful. So that's a huge foundation to build upon to take your girls to the next level.
Absolutely, and the Lady Jackets have, really brought girls soccer back to Rockwall ISD, and the Lady Hawks are looking to do the same here in the next several years. Of course, like you mentioned, they're super young, and they're on a mission. Only 1 loss this entire year. Of course, that was their first district matchup, 3-0 to Forney here across town. But right now, like you said, Lady Hawks sit perfectly comfortable in second place, and it looks like it's going to be between them and Forney as we go forward. But the Lady Jackets are going to try to say something about that. Of course, Christoph in his 3rd season as the Lady Jackets head coach. Of course, Brittany Rose down there as well. Exciting times. We're about to have the national anthem here. We'll let you sit back, relax, and listen to that, and we'll be right back. All right, there's the national anthem presented to you by the CD player here right behind us. Of course, I know, Reggie, you're a big soccer guy. Being a big hockey guy myself, it's nice to hear the Stars yell down there in the crowd by the student section.
Absolutely. I figured that was coming.
Well, we're just about ready to get underway here. Wilkerson Sanders Memorial Stadium. Of course, we are on the other side of town as well tonight as the other I-30 Classic is taking place. We are not broadcasting that game. And I promise you we have a good reason behind that. We are still working on some technology issues over at Heath High School. So it is nothing against Rockwall Heath, of course. We just have some things we are desperately trying to get that fixed before the season ends. And, of course, we have to have perfect weather. So tonight would have been a perfect night to do that over there. We just have some electrical issues we're trying to figure out on the Heath side of town. And then we'll be able to get that going. Can't have any rain. Can't have any mist because we would be out in the elements over at Heath High School. So there are reasons why we're not doing broadcast over there quite yet, but that is coming soon. So I promise you that will take place. We will do the I-30 Classic boys game here. Of course, that comes over later in the season. Of course, I think that's in late March, one of the last games of district season. We're already almost halfway through district play here in soccer, which is crazy to think about, but it's almost March here. We're halfway through February. After a long January, Reggie, it didn't end.
No, I completely get that. So a couple of things to look for tonight. So as in my years as a soccer coach, one of the things I always would tell my kids as they came into the program was we divide the field up into thirds. You've got your defensive third, you've got your middle third, and you've got your attacking third. So your defensive third comes out from your goal out to the 30-yard line. Your middle third comes from the 30 to the 30 on the opposing side, and then your attacking third comes from the 30 on into the goal that you're attacking towards. So focus tonight on that middle third between the 30s. Whichever team tends to dominate that middle third tonight, based on everything I know about both these teams, that's going to be the team that's going to have the upper hand. I expect that Rockwall is going to come out tonight in a 4-4-2. They're going to put 4 midfielders in that middle third to try to control the middle third. And I expect Heath to come out in a 4-3-3, which gives them more strength in the attacking third and a little bit less strength in the middle third. So we see how that works out over the course of this match. Who controls that middle third of the field? Whoever controls that is going to control possession. And if you know anything about soccer, you know that possession is 7/10 of your success in soccer.
I hope you plan to make a little cheat sheet for me at some point so 100%. We can get a little more into it. But, of course, a lot of Ted Lasso studying for me. So Reggie is going to call the play-by-play. We are really high up here at Wilkerson Sanders. So the numbers are going to come and go. We promise we're going to try our hardest for you. But, Reggie, take it away.
Nope. First shot comes from Heath, a little bit wide to the right, but a great job of already controlling the pace of the match from the Heath Lady Hawks.
Of course, as you mentioned, Heath with Sarah Webb in net tonight as the keeper. She is a freshman. No relation, correct?
No relation. Okay. But I can tell you, I've had the opportunity in my last 2 years as an administrator at Kane to be around Sarah Webb. And, as Coach Piper and I talked about earlier this week, I mean, she is an incredibly quality soccer player, but an even higher quality human being. She's just the best kid. She's a kid who is currently a part of the U.S. Women's National Team U14 national pool. I mean, literally, this is a kid that you may see playing for the U.S. Women's National Team in the World Cup here just in a few years from now. Rockwall pushing forward, carrying the ball right up the middle, a quick takeaway from Heath in the defensive third of the field.
Of course, Rockwall Heath having 2 D1 keepers right before Webb in. Of course, Mueller is at Texas Tech, and Savannah Finley, who just graduated last year, she's over at UTEP now. Her brother's pretty good at football.
Yeah,
should be
pretty
going,
good tight end.
He's okay. She's over at LA Tech. He should be going into the draft year after, I would assume.
Yeah,
would be his goal to do that. So shout out to the Finleys and the Muellers.
And Eli Finley, one of the absolute best high school soccer keepers I've ever come across in my life.
Yeah, that run in 2001, was it 2001, was just what we needed after COVID. That run by the Heath Hawks all the way to the state final. Absolutely incredible. And Eli in net in those shootouts. We have some great pictures of that.
It was amazing.
It is absolutely. Of course, he had braces in, which made him look so young. And of course, he grew up into what he is now. Incredible. But yeah, what a career by the Finley family.
Yes.
Two incredible kiddos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, the Mueller's pretty good. Of course, Maddie is at Texas Tech, and her brother, I don't know if he's committed quite yet, but he is going to be a D1 kicker by any stretch of the imagination.
Oh, yeah.
He was nailing them here for Heath last 2 years.
Well,
so.
his first field goal against Duncanville this year was just amazing.
Incredible.
It was, yeah. So we got our first corner kick of the match coming up from Heath, and this is something you want to focus on tonight. Heath has been incredibly successful on set plays this year, especially corner kicks. So let's see how this works for them. Quick clearance by Rockwall. Heath sends it back into the box. All right, sets it up for a goal kick.
Of course, the Lady Jackets out there wearing their black jerseys, black shorts with that orange trim, and the Lady Hawks wearing their white jerseys with white shorts and with red trim. Like we said, these numbers are pretty hard to read up here. We are 18,000 miles into the air up here. Can see downtown Dallas and Rose City.
A great through ball there.
Got the horns in the stands tonight. And you kind of think, with the way the stats are at this point, you think Rockwall is going to really try to slow this game down a little, play more of their game than letting the Lady Hawks keep attacking, because they do like to attack and attack fast.
No, 100%. And I think that's what we've got to focus on tonight is Rockwall wants to slow the pace of this game down. They want to control possession as much as possible. I think you're going to look for Heath to try to force the issue, look for more runs, look for more through balls from them from the middle third into the attacking third, whereas Rockwall is going to want to just kind of control possession as much as possible. So I think those are a couple of the key facts you want to look for tonight.
And we're glad you're tuning in here on the Rockwall SD Sports Network. If you're on your laptop or mobile device, you're welcome to send us a comment and chime in. Tell us where you're listening from, watching from. If you're out in the backyard having a barbecue in the middle of February, let us know. Perfect weather out there tonight. I believe it's about 66 degrees. It might be a degree more, but I didn't want to say the number, so because all of our young fans would really annoy their parents with the little trend that's going around. So glad you caught on with that one.
No 6-7s.
Oh, you did
no 6-7s. I'm a middle school assistant principal, so no 6-7s.
We knew where that was going.
Off night. All right, another long ball in from Heath. Sets up a new goal kick from Rockwall. Rockwall seems to be having a little bit of difficulty right now just penetrating Heath's defensive front. As Rockwall works their way through the middle third, Heath seems to be doing a really, really good job of dropping back in to add extra protection into the defensive third, keeping Rockwall from having much of an opportunity so far for having any kind of shots on goal. Once again, Heath controls the ball in the middle third of the field, working it out wide to the near side. As Rockwall switches the field, they've got a lot of spacing over there, but did a really good job of getting the ball cleared out.
Yeah, Heath is doing a really good job of locking Rockwall down right now. There's just really nowhere for them to go right now.
Rockwall on a little bit of a breakaway here. Need to be patient and control possession. All right. One more shot on goal for Rockwall.
That looked like it was Emerson Bain. It's hard to tell from up here. That was Emerson Bain. I can see that 9 from here.
Absolutely.
Of course, we want to thank our sponsor, Alliance Bank, of course, Corky Randolph and Company, for bringing us the Rockwall ISD Sports Network all year long. They are our title sponsor for every sport for the entire year. So shout out to Corky Randolph and all his friends and our friends at Alliance Bank.
Rockwall clears the ball out of play. Heath will have a throw in.
Feels like it's a lot of feeling each other out for this first 10 minutes. Of course, this match can always be pretty emotional for both teams. Of course, they always want to beat each other. A little more added to the pot here when Rockwall and Rockwall Heath play each other.
Well, I mean, Chris, 100%. I mean, there's going to be a huge feeling out process here because, I mean, these are two teams right now that are on the verge of qualifying for a playoff spot. It's also two teams that have a lot of love/competitiveness with each other, which always adds to the pot a little bit. But, you know, I would say most importantly is you're at the midpoint of the season. Every single match counts. You know, if you're Forney, who's kind of running away with district a little bit right now, that's one thing. You have a little bit of soft landing spot if you have an off game or two. But when you're Heath and Rockwall right now currently sitting in 3rd and 4th place in district, every single match counts. And so just the fact that it's the I-30 Classic, it's girls that you grew up playing with and playing against, all of that matters tonight.
And, of course, Heath's last victory against the Lady Jackets was in 2023. It was a 2-0 win right here. Or, sorry, it was a 3-2 win right here at Wilkerson Center. So it's been a while since Heath has had that taste of victory against their old opponents from across the highway here. Of course, it would be Neil Piper's first win against Rockwall if the Lady Hawks were to get this win.
Yeah, and for you Heath parents, I mean, Neil Piper, if your kids are into soccer, if they're girl soccer players, understand Neil Piper is just the best of the best. He's somebody that I've known and worked with off and on for well over a decade and a half. He is an incredible coach. You know, before he came to Heath, he was at Texas A&M Commerce as their girls soccer coach and their assistant athletic director. He is a guy who knows soccer. And if you've got a bit of talent, he will pull all of it out of you. And I think we're seeing that with this Heath Lady Hawk soccer team, especially with so much youth in it, that he is absolutely pulling everything out of these girls that he possibly can.
Of course, his daughter, a pretty good little soccer player on that Lady Jacket team that made it to the state final for the first time in school history. She was pretty decent.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Of course, she was one of the stars of that team that made it all the way to the state final. Of course, fell just a little bit short to South Lake Carroll.
Well, a South Lake Carroll team that was
loaded,
literally loaded for bear.
Loaded. It was a hard out for them, that's for sure. But Lady Jackets gave them all they could handle that run. That's for sure. Of course, we've had 2 soccer teams make it to the state final in the last 5 years. Of course, we talked about the Hawks, the boys team, making it in 21. And, of course, the very next year, the Lady Jackets made it. And then they made it back to the state tournament, to the state semifinals the following year. in Christoph's first year as head coach for the Lady Jackets.
Yeah.
So soccer around here is known to win a lot, which is great.
And a quick shout out to Ridley Weir and Layla Amaya, who promised me they were listening tonight.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, just it's been an amazing run the last decade for soccer in Rockwall ISD. And if you don't understand that, you just haven't been paying attention. It's been a great run. You know, I mean, at the middle school level, but especially at the high school level, from both the boys and the girls side, from both campuses, both Heath and Rockwall High School. It's been a great run, and this is literally one of the hotbeds for soccer in the state of Texas right now.
Absolutely, and it was really disappointing last year, obviously, with the Lady Jackets. They lost their two
Yeah.
stars right off the bat to ACL injuries, and they missed the entire season, and both going on to play college soccer, of course. So not the way that Christoph drew up last year, but, of course, they fought hard and made the playoffs, of course.
And Arena Sarpy was absolutely one of the top 10 players in the state of Texas going into last year, and losing her would be devastating to any program.
It was fun watching her as, you know, she was the only freshman on the team when she made varsity, and then seeing her grow and go on those 2 runs with the Lady Jackets. It was just something incredible, and something you know, I helping cover those teams. Those teams are something I'm never going to forget. That was just
100%.
a blast to be a part of.
100%. So Rockwall, it's a great weighted ball through, back in just inside the 18. Great job from Rockwall. There we go. Rockwall gets the first score of the match, and if my glasses had better magnification, I could tell you exactly who that was that just scored that.
So Rockwall takes the 1-0 lead, or should I say 1-0? 1-0 is the correct terminology. 1-0. Most of the soccer players would get on to me for saying it the wrong way.
But that was a perfectly weighted ball out to the far side of the field, into the corner, and then a great cross on a late runner that did a perfect job of finishing that. And I apologize that we don't have the names of who both the assist was and who the goal scorer was there, but just an absolutely amazing finish to that run.
We should start complaining a little bit about these numbers. We just can't see them. It's just impossible. I want to say.
Other than that was Cam Hampton right there.
I want to say it might have been Emerson. It's hard to tell from here. But we'll eventually get the name of that goal scorer for you.
We'll eventually come up with the budget to actually have a spotter with.
You think Christoph will answer his phone down there?
Yeah,
think he'll answer that?
Yeah, we're texting Christoph as we speak. All right, so a great start for the Lady Jackets. 1-0, 25 minutes left in the first half. I fully expect that Heath will respond in terms with the fact that they're down 1-0 now. I will expect to see a little bit more pressure from them going forward. And as we see it right now, a great run down the middle of the field.
Yeah, and this is a great opportunity for the Lady Hawks to kind of, like you said, they are very young, and so it's a good learning experience for them. Of course, it's an emotional game, as we mentioned, and they're down to their opponent now, their rival 1-0, so it's a good learning method for the Lady Hawks to see, you know, they're going to be in moments like this, whether it be here or on down the road in the playoffs. They're going to need to know how to make the comebacks. They have not really had to do this all year with the 1 loss on their record right now, so it's a good moment for the Lady Hawks and to maybe have a little something in the tank here to see what they can do.
Well, you've got a Lady Hawks team that, you know, of your starting 11, 9 of those starting 11 are either freshman or sophomore. So, I mean,
it's incredible.
That's insane. Which, when you think about it, you know, these kids who have already had so much success this first year or second year for the sophomores, they've already had so much success. They need to be challenged.
Yep.
I mean, you're not going to make long runs in the playoffs at all unless you get challenged. This is a great opportunity because, again, as anybody who lives in Rockwall knows, this game, no matter where you're at in the standings, this game means more than any other game you play this season. So you get challenged. This is a measure of your fortitude to be able to come back and not get down and fight back from the deficit. And it's an opportunity for these young players to really step up, show a little bit of fortitude and backbone, and then carry that forward for the next 2-3 years, which puts this program in a great place to make long runs over the next couple of years.
Now, Reggie, I know a lot of these girls play soccer. You know, they play 3 or 4 games a day. Does it change anything with this being a one-day off type of situation? Of course, today is Thursday. They did play, of course, on Tuesday. Any coaching differences there when it comes to just the one-day layoff compared to the typical 2-day layoff?
I don't know that matters a lot. I think it would probably matter more if you were playing a different team. I mean, if you were playing Roy City, who's right now at the bottom of the district standings, it may give you a little bit more, lackadaisical attitude about missing that one day of playing on Thursday versus Friday. But the fact that you're playing against your crosstown rivals, again, as I said before, girls that you've grown up with, girls that you've played against forever, I think it probably doesn't have as much of an impact. But again, as you're moving forward, when you get into the playoffs and it's not as much of a regimented schedule as what you may be used to during district, I think all of this matters. I mean, it makes you a more capable, more competent, more well-rounded player.
And of course, as we've seen, throughout the I-30 Classics in every sport, it might be better this game is being played on a Thursday/Friday, because a lot of those games are really emotional. And you see it in football. You see they give it their all, and then the next week it's kind of what just happened. Well, who are we? What are we doing here? So it's good to see this game. They're going to have some time off here, obviously, after this match.
Yeah, completely agree. All right, Rockwall coming down the near side again. Nice little run. Be out of bounds. Throw in for Rockwall.
Of course, I know if you're watching us, sorry, I muted myself right there. If you're watching us here on YouTube on the Rockwall ISD Sports Network, let us know where you're watching from, who you're watching with, and what you're doing tonight here on a Thursday evening in Rockwall, Texas. Of course, right now the Lady Jackets lead 1-0 over the Lady Hawks, and we will get you a score update here very quickly over from the other side of town at, as Phil calls it, the Heath Coliseum over at Rockwall Heath. When Rodney and his crew are not on the field during the fall, it's the Heath Coliseum during the springtime. So shout out to both those teams over there.
Coliseum is a little bit of a stretch.
We need to build some architecture over there or something to make it a little more of a Coliseum. So, but he's on it. He wants it to be the Heath Coliseum, so be it.
All right, so you saw a little bit of a run there from Pearl Desser, who is one of many freshmen playing on this Heath team. I had the great opportunity to watch her over the last couple of years when she was playing soccer for the Kane girls soccer team. Incredibly fast, and that's kind of the epitome of what Coach Piper is building at Heath. Just super athletic, super fast, trying to push the issue. And I think tonight's going to be a great challenge to determine exactly how much they can step up against a formidable opponent who pushes back. And it's going to be a challenge for these 9th and 10th graders tonight.
Of course, shout out to Josie watching us from Rockwall. Go Lady Jackets. Jacket fight never dies. Thanks for tuning in to the I-30 Classic.
Heath with the ball out there. Rockwall will have a throw in inside their attacking third of the field, just outside the 18.
About 19 minutes to go here in the first half. And right now, Rockwall up 1-0.
He's having a real difficult time maintaining possession in the middle third of the field. They're doing a great job of working it into that portion of the field, but then just continuing and maintaining that momentum moving forward. It's been a real struggle for them. When they have their back to the goal, they're struggling to get the ball turned and served off of those possessions.
And it's something we really haven't seen a lot from the Lady Hawks this season. Is this something that Rockwall is doing right to keep them from doing that?
Well, I think Rockwall is really playing a high-pressure defense in the middle third of the field. They're trying to pressure every possession that Heath has. Now, again, that's the veteran experience of a senior-laden team from Rockwall versus the inexperience of a 9th and 10th grade laden team from Heath. But again, it's going to be about how Heath reacts to that. I mean, I see a lot of spacing from Heath that is exactly what you want to see, but it does you no good unless you maintain possession. So if Heath can, whether it's in the first half or whether it's halftime adjustments, if Coach Piper can get them to understand how to maintain the possession a little bit better, maybe not win the ball with their backs to the goal quite as much, let those balls flow through, shield players off, and then run onto them and have an attack from that, I think that can make all the difference in the world for Heath.
Well, that's a great save by Presley. I believe that's Presley, and that for the Lady Jackets. She's looked good so far. She's been tested a few times, and she's looking good.
So once again, an opportunity for Heath in the middle third of the field, and just sends the ball out wide that didn't connect. So at some point, you want to see Heath kind of maintain composure a little bit better, not get quite as excited as they have been so far. Maintain the composure in the middle third of the field, try to connect their passes. If they're not being able to maintain possession with their back to the goal, connect those passes as through balls, run on them, and create opportunities off of that.
Yeah, Heath looks like they need to try to get a little more pressure, a little more high danger quality shots. I'm using my hockey terminology here at this point. It's the best I can do, folks.
But you're not wrong. I mean, it's one of the things in all my years as a coach, I would always stress is once you get the ball in the attacking third, once you get inside that 6-yard box, you want to create chaos.
Mm-hmm.
There's no specific choreography to the chaos. You just want chaos. And so far, Heath's not been able to get the ball inside the 6 enough for that chaos to matter.
There it is right there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's. Oh, go ahead.
The one I was just going to say, that's one of the things that Heath has absolutely thrived on this year has been corner kicks. Of their multiple goals this year, they've scored 13 goals this season off of corners, which tells you it's a team that absolutely thrives on set plays. It thrives on creating chaos in the 6, so they know how to create that chaos in the 6-yard box. It's just right now in the run of play, they're not getting that ball down there deep enough in control for that chaos to really become their friend. Right now, they're just sending long balls in, not being able to run on it, not having control to where whatever chaos they're creating inside the 18-yard box or the 6-yard box is irrelevant because they're not maintaining possession so far.
Well, speaking of chaos, you never guess who just texted in and said they're listening in. Coach Garcia. Of course,
that's chaos.
That is chaos. That is one of the Lady Jackets' former head coach, of course, named one of the coaches of the year in the state of Texas down in, I think it was 2023.
Yep.
Coach can correct me if I'm wrong on that one. I went down to.
Oh, and she will.
Yeah, she will. She'll make sure.
Will.
She'll make sure I know, and she'll send a picture with the trophy right there. She's eating her popcorn. She'll make sure. But yeah, what an incredible run by Coach Garcia and everything she did for Rockwall High School.
Well, and I've told her many times that I've always asked my family for my birthday to give me a opportunity to play in the state championship game, and only she got that as a birthday present.
Yeah, she and won on her birthday nonetheless.
Yes,
even better.
Yes, absolutely.
We tried to get the Gatorade shower. There wasn't a big enough tub during that semifinal game to get that Gatorade shower for her, but man, she had an incredible year of coaching, incredible group of girls. Of course, that's where it starts, and the coaching comes in as well. So Thanks for Coach Gar for tuning in. We'll try to get her on the sideline when we get some more equipment and maybe make her a sideline reporter.
Absolutely.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
We don't want to subject these girls to her. Now, Melissa Garcia is one of the best people I've ever known in my life. It's one of the best. As I was coaching at Mesquite High School and she was at Rockwall, I mean, one of the absolutely best people that I spent time with in our coaches' meetings. And still to this day, one of my closest coaching friends that I have. And I'm very thankful for that.
Of course, Coach Gar is over at Rock 9, having a blast.
Really? Are you?
That's what she says.
Are you having a blast if you're at the 9th grade
That's
center?
what she
Really?
says. I don't know if she is or not, but I guess
she's having to deal with my daughter. So,
of course, a lot of the traditions that Coach Gar installed on this Lady Jacket team remain to this day, which is really cool to see. The pregame huddle and the jump around. Of course, the spitting on the ground. That was always a big deal and a really cool deal that they used to do. And
I got in the middle of that once. I didn't realize the spitting part until after I was in the middle of it. So
I think one of my first times I had the camera, I thought, it's going to be kind of cool to go in this huddle and get a up shot. Yeah, you get spit on everywhere.
Yeah, not cool.
Had some brand new shoes on, too, that day, too. Just never again. Never again.
Corner kick coming up from Heath. Again, this is something that they absolutely specialize in. And a great ball in. Oh, that was really well played.
Oh,
a little bit over the crossbar there. You know, so far into this match, even though it seems it's a little bit one-sided, you know, we're at 4 shots on goal, or 4 shots from the Lady Jacks, 4 shots from the Lady Hawks, and about equal on shots on goal as well. You know, opportunities have been the same. It's all about whether that experience from the Lady Jacks is going to play out for the entirety of the next 51 minutes. Versus Heath actually having that implosion of or explosion of energy that comes from their youth that can get them back into this match.
Absolutely. Like you mentioned, there is a lot on the line for this game. Of course, if Rockwell does win, they go to 3-2-1. They will be right on Longview's tail. Of course, if the Lady Hawks win, they're going to stay on Forney's tail at 4-1-1. Of course, they did have that draw just last game.
Well, I mean, you know, if Rockwell comes out with a clear victory here, they actually move ahead of Heath in the district standings. They'll move ahead 11 points to 10 points.
You're right.
And then be right on Longview's tail. So it does matter. You do not want to be that 4th place team as you're going through the gauntlet of the second half of district play, because every match seems to matter with, absolute stress and anxiety, and you don't want to carry that forward. So that's why this game matters so much. It's not just 2 city rivals. It's 2 teams that are in a dead heat battle for playoff spots.
And we just mentioned the Sarpy family. Quentin tuning in. Of course, their daughter is at CSU up in Colorado. Of course, I bet it's nice and cool up in Colorado right about now. So it's good to hear from them. We miss Quentin down here, and he was one of the vocal leaders of the crowd during those Lady Jackie games. Man, he made these games fun.
Oh, absolutely.
So shout out to them, and hope they are having a blast.
Great through ball. Cam Hampton had a little bit of trouble getting on the end of that, but that was a really well-weighted through ball for her. Again, Rockwall is still continuing to put pressure on the back 4 from Heath. At some point in time, Heath's got to figure out something to control the middle of the field a little bit better than what they have so far. But again, a great through ball that had Cam Hampton gotten on the end of that, I think that would have been a high probability scoring opportunity.
Of course, also want to give a shout out to the former Lady Hawk head coach, Ashley Floor, tuning in as well. Big shout out to the Floor family.
Ashley and I had a few great head-to-head opportunities. When she was at North Forney and I was at Mesquite, we came up against each other a few times. Just an amazing coach.
Of course, the first time I met Ashley, I actually thought she was a student at,
Yes.
and she was actually a player.
100%.
She never aged while she was here. Of course, we miss Ashley and hope she's doing well. Thanks for tuning in. Coach Gar said don't make her cry. She's tearing up over there. In a good way. In a good way.
That's what we do.
She didn't burn her food. That's not why she's crying. She's crying because you're sweet talking her over there.
Yeah, it's what we do. All right, so we got a goal kick coming up from Rockwall High School.
Nice little body check there. It's getting physical down there, as these games always are.
All right, 7:45 left in the first half. Rockwall still maintains possession. We'll see if Heath does a nice job of taking away the ball in the middle third of the field. All right, should be another corner kick for Heath. And again, I mean, this is one of the things when I talked to Coach Piper earlier this week, it's one of the things he stressed on is, you know, he wishes they had more success converting in the run of play, but what they've really excelled at this year has been in set plays, whether it's been long throws into the box or whether it's been corner kicks. And so, you know, every time tonight you see Heath line up for a long throw down inside the 18, or you see them line up for a corner kick, expect some magic because it's really been something that they've focused on. It's really been something that they've excelled at all season long. So we've got an injured player on the field right now, it looks like from Rockwall. But after we get through this delay in the game, look for what Heath can capitalize on in this corner kick.
Absolutely. Let a whole bunch of time run off the clock there. I was wondering when they were going to stop it, but the injury's right at the top of the 50. So I didn't know if they were going to let them keep going while they're on the sideline. Looks like Coach Rose is over there, along with probably Jake the trainer. Jake the Great.
Having been in that position, I can promise you both coaches are wondering why the clock kept running too.
Got about 30 seconds off the clock. Everybody was standing around, so that is Jake down there. Big shout out to Jake and the Rockwall High School athletic training staff. Of course, throwing the girl on his back and carrying her all the way across the field. They have to do some training too as well.
A man committed to his job right there.
That is a living legend as you've ever seen. You can't see it on camera right now, but he is literally carrying her. Looks like an ankle injury. So, man, that's the role treatment right there. Our athletic trainers go above and beyond.
Yep, absolutely.
Of course, March is athletic training month. You'll see a lot of stuff from us here coming up pretty soon on our trainers from both Rockwall and Rockwall Heath.
Well, and you've got just some of the best people in the world that work on our sports medicine and athletic training departments, you know, from both schools, you know, have so much history with both of them or both programs. And it's amazing how much care they put into these kids.
And they're good people too. That's the most important
100%.
thing. They're such good people.
All right, here we go with Heath setting up for the corner kick from the far side of the field.
We can't give Kerry Tyson too much love, though.
No.
Yeah, you got to keep
I'm not talking about Kerry Tyson.
Everybody but Kerry Tyson.
Everybody but.
Poor guy. Love Kerry.
All right, Heath.
So they did have time back.
Heath looks to be setting this up on the far post. Everybody's running in from the backside of the 18. Oh, we played it short. Carrying it in. Oh. Cleared out. Well thought out, but just not well executed. So Rockwall makes another run. A little bit heavy. Sarah Webb on the stop. No relation.
I feel like you're going to need to confirm that a few times here tonight.
I'm going to say Sarah Webb, no relation quite a bit. So for those of you who don't know, Sarah Webb, who is the keeper for Rockwall Heath High School, she is a ninth grader. But she is not just any ninth grader. She's a ninth grader that's currently in the U14 U.S. Women's National Team pool. She has done multiple camps with the U.S. Women's National Team. She, in all likelihood, will be a kid that you will possibly see in the next 4 or 8 years playing for the U.S. Women's National Team in the World Cup. And she is just a ninth grader at Heath. So we get to enjoy her for not just this season, but for the next 3 seasons. And I've had the extreme pleasure of being her assistant principal at Kane Middle School the last couple of years. Just, as quality as she's on the field, she is even higher quality off the field. And that's so many of these girls that you're watching tonight that I had the chance to work with when I was a teacher at Utley Middle School. So many of these Rockwall girls I got to work with, and the last few years at Kane, especially with a Kane or a Heath team that's so full of 9th and 10th graders, so many kids that I've got to work with at Kane. It's, guys, we're sending the best of the best out there as far as just absolutely quality people, and that's what you're going to watch here tonight. I'm incredibly happy and I'm incredibly proud for that.
Absolutely. Girls soccer, of course, taking off here at Rockwall ISD. Of course, that Lady Jacket squad of the last 4 or 5 years making a lot of noise here in the community. Not only in the community, but across the state of Texas. They made Rockwall known, of course, taking not quite winning a state championship, but getting to the final. One of the best 2 teams in the state, of course, and then getting right back again and becoming a top 4 team in the state. Just making a lot of noise. Of course, the Heath boys make it to the state final. There's a lot of soccer noise around this part of town. Who would have thought? The smallest county in Texas, and here we are.
Well, we did it with football. We did it with baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, why not soccer? Yeah, and heck, we're doing it with wrestling right now, too.
Yeah, of course. Shout out to our wrestling team heading down to the Cy-Fair area. Of course, that state tournament beginning tomorrow for Rockwall Heath and Rockwall. Of course, Lisa Trammell heading down tomorrow to get those photos Friday and Saturday and hopefully bring us home some hardware. Of course, shout out to Shane and Clay leading those 2 teams on both sides of town. Clay, of course, has been a great addition to the Rockwall side of town. And Shane just doing his thing. It's constant with him.
Yes.
State winners after state winners after state winners. He should have maybe 2, at least 2, have a really good shot of becoming the best of the best in the state. So we'll see. And, of course, the week after, we have our swimmers heading down to Austin. Got a bunch of swimmers from Heath and Rockwall going down to the University of Texas to compete at the UIL State Championships. That's, of course, coming up weekend after next.
Well, and just a shout out to, shot on goal there, little header. A shout out to, and I know he's new to the scene, but a shout out to Greg Priest for just kind of continuing what he inherited when he came here as the athletic director at Rockwall ISD. And then Casey Brewer, who, I mean, when we shuffled things up in the athletic department and decided to have a full-time assistant athletic director, I mean, there was nobody in this city more qualified, capable, and competent of doing that job than Casey Brewer. And then to Trey Brooks at Rockwall High School and to my snotty little brother, Rodney Webb, at Heath High School.
The non-favorite one, right?
Yeah. No, he was Mom's favorite. I mean, we all know that. But, I mean, just it's such a tremendous job of building these athletic programs at both high schools. And it doesn't matter what the sport is. I mean, Every single sport is competitive at the highest level at both high schools. And when you come from such a small square mileage district, the fact that you're constantly able to find so much success in every single sport is just
incredible.
It's an awesome thing.
It's incredible. Of course, Greg is up in Oklahoma watching his kiddo do a little bit of running here starting tomorrow. Of course, Casey Brewer was watching some middle school basketball this afternoon, and she's going to be over here for the second half. And then I think she's going to try to double dip, make it over to Heath as well, and see the boys play a little bit. So a lot going on, a lot of winning going on. Of course, baseball season and softball season. Of course, softball making it to the state tournament.
Absolutely.
Baseball has done their runs. Of course, 2 regional finals against each other.
Yes.
Back-to-back years. A little guy named Jet Williams, who just got drafted a few years ago, got traded this past year.
Got traded to the Brewers.
he's going to the Brewers and has a chance to make the big league. So best of luck to him. And of course, there is a little guy named Jackson Smith in Jigba who, of course, did a little
Never
something.
heard of him.
He's not real popular around here, but of course, made a name for himself this past year, big time. Of course, Offensive Player of the Year, and won a trophy. Which, talking to his mom, I think it was his first ever championship. I think they said he might have done something in elementary school. They couldn't remember that far back. But by far, his greatest accomplishment is winning the Super Bowl and putting little old Rockwall, Texas on the map. And so we are working on things for him. We promise you. We haven't forgotten about him. He's a busy guy these days.
Well, we just had a ton of run with a lot of big athletes over the last
Absolutely.
8-10 years. I mean, you talk about Jackson, you talk about Josh Hoover, who is going to be the quarterback at Indiana University, the defending national champions.
They did something this year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, and their quarterback did pretty well, too.
Kind of ironic because that's where he was going to go originally.
Full circle.
Yeah, full circle. So he's had a good run. Braden Locke's had a good run. He's going to be at Tarleton. Jacob Clark has had an amazing run at Missouri State, their all-time leading passer. I fully believe he's going to get an opportunity to play on Sundays. And we've run through this tremendous group of athletes over the last 10 years in this district, not just in football, but in baseball, in soccer, in volleyball.
Everything.
I mean, think about what we've done in volleyball just in the past few years with our run at TCU.
Yeah.
And
with the Kelly sisters.
Yes, with Bree Kelly. And it's been a great run. And I fully expect that so many of these kids that we see going to halftime right now tonight are going to get that opportunity as well.
Absolutely. And funny story about Jacob Clark. I was talking to his fiance the other day, and he's going to the combine. He is going to be getting looks. They already have some teams that are looking at him. And of course, I talked to her and said, "Hey, what's the latest?" And she said, obviously we're in Minnesota right after he graduated from Rockwell High School. Cold. Went to Missouri State. It was cold in Missouri. And the two teams that are looking at him and want him right now are the Buffalo Bills and the Green Bay Packers.
There you go. Well,
cold. She's like, can I not get an indoor arena at some point?
Can Tampa Bay not have an interest?
Baker's going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
But anyways, it is 1-0. The Lady Jackets lead the Lady Hawks of Rockwall Heath. Great first half here. Of course, everything you probably would have expected. The score might be something that maybe not a lot of people expected seeing if you're just looking at records. But, of course, the Lady Jackets, they defended their house in that first half. And, of course, they came out strong. And, of course, Neil Piper's probably over there saying to his girls, okay, it's one half. That doesn't define the game. We got to get our game back and be the dominant team that we have been all season long and see what they can pull out here in the second half.
Well, I mean, and I think as I alluded to earlier, I think Coach Piper's over there right now talking to the girls about controlling the ball in the middle third of the field. So much of the time when they would send through balls in that middle third, they were possessing the ball with their back to the goal. It's a lot more difficult to turn and be able to make a connecting pass in the middle third when you've got your back to the goal. I think he's probably going to be talking to them a lot more about trying to slot balls through. Let their midfielders be able to run on those balls, attacking the goal, and then be able to find their strikers, their forwards in the attacking third to be able to connect for scoring opportunities. They didn't have that as much in the first half. But again, that's not a huge problem to overcome if you can get the right kids in the right place to do that. Rockwall did everything they needed to do in the first half. They maintained possession. They relied on their experience. They fed balls through the middle third. They created scoring opportunities. They had 5 shots on goal. The Lady Hawks had 5 shots on goal. Or no, they had 5 shots each, and then each team had 3 shots on goal. But the Lady Hawks did a much better job of winning those corners. And, I mean, again, as I said before, Coach Piper has said all throughout this week that's a huge part of their game is the set plays. They weren't able to convert on their 3 corners they had in the first half. I look for them to continue pressuring that attacking third of the field, continuing to look for opportunities for those set pieces. But also, I would expect them to look for more forward-facing possession through the middle third of the field.
Well, Reggie, it's your first soccer match to call. So, how do you think you did so far? What would you give? What would Rodney give you? You
I'm
think?
literally texting him right now, and he's leaving me on read. So
Oh
I have
no!
no idea.
You think he's intently watching the game?
No,
and
I'm pretty sure he's asleep.
at only 8 o'clock. I don't blame him either these days.
Absolutely.
He's a grandpa now, so
Yes,
he's
a grandpa.
He has to take his nightly naps real quick before the 10 o'clock news, of course. So, well, if Rodney is watching, shout out to Rodney Webb, of course. One of the greatest high school football coaches of all time here in the state of Texas. Of course, a little bit of an award winner this past summer.
A little bit.
And, of course, led his team.
Made me have to go to San Antonio just to try to pretend like I liked him.
That's just punishment. My goodness. And, of course, shout out to his wife, Fran. It's her birthday today, so that might be why he's home. He probably got told you have to stay home. Or maybe it was you need to get out of the house.
Not by choice, but yeah, I'm sure that's why he's maybe at home.
Oh, but shout out to them. Of course, shout out to Trey Brooks and company over at Rockwall High School.
I'm pretty sure they're at Zanata's right now.
They probably are.
That you say that.
Having some pizza. It was really nice of Dwayne Kane to bring the athletic department some pizza the other day. Man, that stuff's good for lunch. It put me out for the whole day. So I guess I can't go to Zanata during the day. So it's tough, but you know how it is. So about 6 minutes to go here at halftime with the I-30 Classic. Of course, looking ahead for your Lady Hawks. Of course, the visitors here at Wilkerson Sanders. Of course, they have Rockwall tonight. And they have a nice little break. They will not play again until February 20th. They will go to North Forney. And the Lady Jackets will jump right back into play on the 17th, which is, I believe, next Tuesday. They will be traveling the far 2 hours to the land of the Longview Lobos. Of course, that game will start at 7:15. You could probably catch that game on the Longview Game Day Network. Not sure if they will be streaming soccer or not, but worth a shot over there to our friends over in Longview. Of course, John King leading that program over there. Well, we have about 5 minutes to go. I guess we can do a little shout outs to some of our sponsors. Let me pull our handy dandy sponsorship packet up real quick. Of course, if you would like to be a sponsor of the Rockwall ISD Sports Network, just shoot me a text, or I guess an email would probably be a little easier. I don't want to get my phone number out, over the air.
Oh, I'll give it.
But I figured you'd probably do that here in a little bit. We can do that. Just give him Rodney's and just let him. He's going to have nothing to do after this year, so just give him a text.
Good point.
And
Good point.
This is your chance, Reggie. This is your chance to do the paybacks, of course. So.
Yes.
But all of our sponsors, we appreciate each and every one of you. Of course, Alliance Bank is our title sponsor for the entire year. They are a proud sponsor of Rockwall ISD Athletics. Alliance Bank is cheering on our Hawks and Yellow Jackets all season long on the field and in life. Whether you need personal or business banking, stop by and experience hometown service with Big Bank Solutions, or visit us online at alliancebank.com. Alliance Bank, member FDIC, an equal housing lender, and you need to go make sure that you give Corky Randolph a shout out. He does so much for us, so we greatly appreciate everything that Corky does for us. A brand new springtime sponsor is Servant Heart Orthodontics. You can give them a call at 972-475-9660. If you know anybody that needs some braces, maybe needs some Invisalign, maybe just needs some teeth whitening, or just needs some sort of dental work, you never know. They are located across the pond here in Rylette, brand new sponsor of ours. So we really appreciate them tuning in and being a great sponsor. They're trying it out, see how it goes, and we'll kind of go from there. So appreciate them tuning in. Of course, Rockwall Sports Center, they're pretty popular. Of course, Rockwall Center has proudly served the community for over 20 years. We're a sporting goods store, screen printing, and custom apparel based in Rockwall. Of course, they are located in the storefront across from Sammy's Pizza Getty. They are over there by where the movie theater used to be. If you're an Old Town Rockwall person, go over there and give them a shout. If you need anything Rockwall Heath, Royce City, Forney, you need something for something super random, just go over there and get that screen printed. Over there, it is a great place. Friendly people. Give them a shout out. Brandy and Shauna will hook you up and make sure you don't leave the store unhappy. Of course, thankful for them for being a sponsor of the Rockwall ISD Sports Network. I wonder if Jacob Rhodes is tuning in. I'm going to get a text from him, hopefully. He's with Smith Allen Insurance. Has your home insurance rate doubled the last few years? Talk to Jacob Rhodes, your trusted broker at Smith Allen Insurance. Born and raised in Rockwall, Jacob is a class of 2023 graduate of Rockwall High School. Smith Allen Insurance, give him a call today at 214-460-3638. My mom is a proud supporter of Jacob and the insurance with Smith Allen. And, of course, one of our broadcasters as well has also jumped in. So we appreciate everything that Jacob Rhodes has done for us. Of course, Texas Health of Rockwall, great sponsor of ours. They're looking to do a little more next year, which we greatly appreciate. Texas Health, proud to serve the growing areas of Rockwall County, Kaufman County, Hunt County, Eastern Dallas County, Southern Collin County, and outlying areas. Big supporter of Rockwall ISD athletics. Big shout out to HBTX. They are locally owned banking at its best, recognized as one of the strongest financial institutions in the country, rated 5 stars by Bauer Financial. Visit our Rockwall location at 105 East Ralph Hall Parkway. They're also located in the heart of Dallas and also in Sunnyvale, Texas. So if you're on that side of town, go give them a visit. Of course, Griffin Heat Shield, Casey Brewer's dad, a big part of Griffin Heat Shield. We appreciate everything that they do for us. They're a proud supporter of Rockwall ISD Athletics. One granddaughter on the Lady Jackets basketball team and one granddaughter that likes to run around at Lady Jacket basketball games. So she will be a Lady Jacket here at some point after talking to Coach Brewer, big-time gymnast. So hopefully she will be a gymnast at Rockwall High School in the near future. And who knows? When I'm down there filming Coach Webb, she is sprinting everywhere. She has some speed, just like her mom.
Of course she does.
Absolutely. You can just tell Casey's just like, man, this is going to happen one day. So big shout out to Griffin Heat Shield and the Brewer family as well.
So let's talk real quick about the second half and what I would hope to see, expect to see from Rockwall. I mean, you're nursing a 1-0 lead, which, considering how the season's gone so far, that's a great position to be in for Coach Martinez is, to hold on to that lead. So I would expect Rockwall, you'll see them, not that they won't focus on possessing the ball, because, I mean, that's the penultimate, objective here. But when Heath is able to work the ball in deep into the Rockwall defensive third, I would expect to see Rockwall do a lot more deep clearances, trying to switch the field, trying to get the ball to the far end of the field. From a Heath perspective, I would expect to see them become much more aggressive. Because again, as we said, even though coming into this game, Heath has got an advantage over Rockwall, it can completely flip the script if Rockwall comes out of here with a full-on 3-point victory. Which, if in high school soccer, if you're the winner during regulation, you get 3 points for that, and that would flip, and it would put Rockwall in third place in district, Heath in fourth place. So I would certainly expect Heath to come out to be a little bit more aggressive here. I would look for them to press the issue a little bit more, maybe even bring their back four up into the middle third of the field a little bit more to pressure Rockwall and limit their possession. So we'll kind of see how this plays out. I would expect Rockwall to play a little bit more conservative, not fully conservative, where they're trying to play everything back out of their back third all match long, but I would certainly expect to see Heath come out and be a lot more aggressive, especially in the middle third and the attacking third of the field. So we'll see how this plays out.
Should be a good second half. Of course, shout out to Adrian Martinez. They are tuning in from the house with their, I guarantee you I know why Miss Martinez is home. She had a baby 6 months ago. Of course, happy half birthday to Santiago. Of course, Coach Martinez's 6-month-old.
Yeah, somebody has to be the responsible parent.
She's definitely the responsible one by far.
Great opportunity there from Heath, just a little bit over the crossbar.
Of course, shout out to the Curtis twins as well. They should be in bed by now, but if they're sneaking the iPad in there, if they're watching, shout out to the Curtis girls. They better be asleep, that's all I'm saying. Or I'm going to be in trouble when I get home.
Avery Enoch here with the throw-in for Heath. We're going to switch out here real quick. Heath, throw-in just inside the 18. Looks like this may be Penelope Mumphrey throwing the ball in. And Rockwall clears it back out of bounds for another Heath throw-in.
Of course, if you are watching us on the Rockwell ISD Sports Network on the laptop, the TV, or the iPad, just give us a comment here. Let us know where you're watching from. Of course, shout out to Josie and Quentin Sarpy for tuning in. Appreciate you guys. Of course, 2 big Lady Jacket fans. Everybody else that's texted in and let us know.
Another shot from Heath just over the crossbar. Again, they're getting the ball, they're getting possession and clean shots inside the 18. They're just not able to put it on frame. Everything's going a little bit high, a little bit wide.
Of course, both teams do switch in, so Heath is now moving toward the Yellow Jacket end zone, if you're familiar with our stadium, and the Jacket end zone. Of course, Rockwell's heading the other way toward the Heath end zone.
So as expected, Heath has kind of pushed a lot more of their defense up into the attacking zone, which then also leaves them vulnerable for quick runs from Rockwall if they control possession. Heath did a great job there of retaking possession, sending the ball back through the middle third of the field. Just couldn't connect it to get out into the attacking third.
Of course, just kicking off the second half, Lady Jackets up 1-0 against their rivals from the south side, Rockwell Heath Lady Hawks.
Great ball there from Heath, and that ties it up.
Big time goal, big time answer by the Lady Hawks.
That was a huge ball in from Audrey Laird from literally in the middle third of the field. She had a great weighted ball that she slotted through. I'm not exactly sure who it was that she connected with at the end, but that was a great ball through and a great finish from the Lady Hawks.
I just have my hockey goal horn, so I had to pick a random one. So I chose Chicago. I have no idea why. I need to work on I need to see if they have a soccer playlist, but they did not have one on Spotify. So I apologize to all of our. Do they have goal horns in soccer? I think they do, right?
Vuvuzelas.
Vuvuzelas. Okay.
Vuvuzelas.
Okay. You probably can't hear the goal horn because the Vuvuzelas are going so loud.
Trust me, from my time at Mesquite High School and Kevin Samples, when he was the principal at Mesquite High School, and he authorized students to bring Vuvuzelas to our soccer matches.
Love it.
Hated that.
You
hated that.
I think it was.
I could not coach while Vuvuzelas are blowing from the stands at the Hamby Stadium.
I think it was Phil Duhon I was having a conversation with about we need to get like the bands out here to get a little motivation going and a little bit of noise out here as far as an instrument goes. You guys would probably hate it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you nobody would hate it more than Duhon would.
So there we go. It's a brand new soccer match. It is 1-1 with about 36 minutes left to go. And it's a brand new ball game here at Wilkerson. Of course, shout out to Taylor Webb.
Why is she watching?
She's watching. She says, yay. Love this broadcast. Love this broadcast. And, of course, also Josie's still watching in saying, let's go Lady Jackets.
All right. Hey, Taylor. I'm glad you're watching.
Just trying to get some brownie points.
Hey, I've got 6 daughters.
Just trying to get some brownie points.
Some of them are going to be watching. Yeah, and exactly, for brownie points. All right, so we've got a brand new match. 35 minutes, 45 seconds left in this match, and Heath has done exactly what I expected that they would do. They've been hyper-aggressive. They forced the issue. I don't expect that to let up. I really feel like that would have worked better for them in the first half to be more aggressive than what they were. And I think that's paid off for them early here in the second half. I expect we'll continue to see them put pressure up. But again, high pressure is high risk. You know, if you are just leaving 2 or 3 people back deep, if Rockwall does get a through ball, then they're going to have an open run on net.
Of course, we have an update from the Heath Coliseum over in Heath, Texas. It is 0-0 at the half. It is a physical match from what I'm hearing. Of course, we are not broadcasting that game. If you're tuning in and there's a shot by the Lady Hawks. That go in?
No, just off the outside of the net.
Just wide. It is 0-0 at the Heath Coliseum. Of course, a physical match. That game is between 2 of the top 3 teams in District 10-6A. Of course, Heath at 4-0-1. And after coming off their 9-1 win over Tyler Legacy on Tuesday night, and Rockwall is checking in at 3-1-1, and whoever wins that game might have first place in the district. So a big one over there. We've been over why we're not broadcasting. I apologize to those on the Heath side. It is not because we do not like you. It is an electrical issue over at Heath High School. We have to have perfect weather conditions over at Heath. We are exposed to the weather, and so we are working to get that fixed. I promise you that is on our agenda. That's definitely on my agenda. But we will try to get those games here going here pretty soon. But we will have the boys game here at Wilkerson as we are covered. Weather does not matter here, so we are okay in this stadium. So we will work on getting those Heath games as well.
Weather matters to the players. It just doesn't matter to us.
It doesn't matter to us. We're good. They're playing the game. No, my knees hurt no matter what. It's the weather is going to make my knees hurt no matter what. But that game is 0-0 over at Heath High School. We will have some updates for you throughout the night as well. It looks like they're a little behind this game. I think they didn't start till 7:30, as Phil so politically actively told me so, that game was at 7:30. I said, well, it gives you more time to get the fans in the stands. You're good. Extra 15 minutes, so you're good. So,
and both those boy teams are loaded for bear this year. I mean, both teams have the ability to make really long runs. They've got a great mix of youth and experience. So I'm really excited to get to broadcast them later on in the season as well.
Of course, Logan chiming in. We do not have to mention that Legacy game. It was very bad to watch. I don't know if Logan is a Tyler Legacy fan or.
I would think not.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, from a Heath side, I think it was wonderful. So we got a game now. It's 1-1, and next goal is going to have a nice advantage here coming up with about 32 minutes to go.
The way both these teams are setting up, I mean, to your point, I think the next goal is everything.
Next goal wins?
Yeah, I mean, I won't say next goal wins, but I just think both of these teams are playing so cautiously and conservatively that somebody gets the next goal, I think you're going to run out of time before you run out of opportunities to score that next goal.
It's definitely getting a little chippy down there.
Yeah, it's
as you would expect with these two clubs.
Well, you would, and I mean, especially as you would expect, as it's tied up now, and everybody realizes that, we're 31 minutes away from a decisive statement on the season. It's going to get a little bit chippy, and I think you're probably going to see a little bit more chippiness without, picking a side from the Rockwall side than you probably will from the Heath side, just because of the maturity, because of the gamemanship that comes from a roster laden with 11th graders and 12th graders. And it'll be really interesting to see how Heath responds to that.
That'll be something the Lady Hawks will learn as they go throughout this season and their next, couple years, as they're going to be here for a while. So they'll learn that as they go.
Yeah, they'll be super chippy in a couple of years.
Yep. Of course, after this game, both teams have a little time off, with it being Thursday and not a Friday. Of course, Lady Jackets will come back to work on Tuesday night, and the Lady Hawks are off until Friday. So throw it all on the line here and get yourself a dub, and then move out and get a little rest after this one.
Well, and it can be a challenge for the Lady Jackets, too, coming back on Tuesday night after a 4-day weekend.
Absolutely.
I can tell you that's something that, as a high school soccer coach, I never loved, because you kind of lose that connectivity. You don't know what you're getting back. You don't know how well the kids have taken care of their bodies over that long extended break. So that's going to be huge on Coach Martinez to make sure he's keeping his kids engaged, because, win or lose tonight, the next game means everything when it's in this tight of a district battle. Oh, great ball through. Just couldn't connect there for Rockwall.
Logan chiming back in. He is a Tyler Legacy student, works with one of my counterparts, Reese Landon. Shout out to Reese over at Tyler Legacy. So I had to explain why the game was ugly.
Yeah, well.
So there you go.
If he's a Legacy product, we'll keep talking about the Legacy game. Heath with the throw in from the far side of the field. Rockwall controls it. Back out now to a Rockwall throw.
Tell you what, speaking of the throw-ins, I think one of the best girls I've ever seen throw a ball in was Brianna Jeter.
Yeah.
It was
I knew exactly what you were about to say.
unbelievable.
Yes.
She could chunk that ball almost across the field. She was so good at it, and she was definitely a weapon for the Lady Hawks over the last few years. But the first time I saw her throw that ball, I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. No, I completely knew exactly who you were going to reference there, and it was absolutely amazing. And really both teams have had, both women's teams at both Heath and Rockwall have just had an amazing run of players over the last few years. Nope. Just a little bit wide right there as Heath pushes it down inside the 6, tried to play a header in, hit it a little bit wide. Now we'll reset, and 28 and a half minutes left in the match.
Speaking of another former Lady Hawk, of course, Mia, who is going to be already a senior at UNT. Yeah. Of course, I sent her a message the other day. I didn't even notice this, but there is a picture of her in the superintendent's suite down on the 3rd level of her when she was in elementary school. And I saw a picture. I was like, that girl looks really familiar. It was me, and I sent it to her and her mom, and they had a good chuckle. But she still lives in Wilkerson down there in the suite.
She's had an amazing run in Denton.
Absolutely. She is a fun one to watch. If you haven't been out to a soccer match for college, go out to UNT, not too far from here. Of course, go watch me and cheer her on. Yeah. Of course, Claire is there as well.
Yep.
Former Lady Hawk.
And then while you're in Denton, you can run over to Texas Women's University.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'll see a couple of former Jackets over there as well.
Pretty good little keeper.
Yeah.
We used to have here.
Pretty good.
They're just all over. It's just incredible to see, like we kind of already talked about, just the talent that is around here.
Yeah.
Speaking of talent, Coach McCreary standing in the PA box next to us. He's a pretty talented coach. Looking to add some more ink to his arm with another district championship this season.
Absolutely. Will McCreary is one of the best human beings you'll ever work with.
It's a little motivation to get if you win district, your coach gets some ink on his arm. That's pretty cool, and he's got a lot of them on there. He is known for winning those.
Yep. Well, and that motivates the kids.
Absolutely.
I mean, the kids feel that connection.
Of course, track season is just about to get underway here. There's a big shot.
Just a little bit wide, but that was a great shot. That was from 25 yards out. That was well outside of the 18, and that was a high-quality shot there just off the upper left, upper 90.
You kind of feel that the Lady Hawks are starting to find their groove just a little bit here. Most of this action has been down here.
That was exactly what I was about to say. They've kind of dominated the middle of the field, and they've kept everything. They've kept Rockwall back on their heels now for a good 10, 12 minutes in this match, and Rockwall's just doing everything they can to try to clear the ball out. Heath has definitely brought the heat, which is exactly what they needed to do after the first half, and it's working out well for them so far.
Absolutely. Of course, the Lady Jackets feel like they're kind of sitting back a little bit, but they'll make their move here soon.
So Penelope Mumphrey there with Heath, a great job. She's winning every single ball coming to her. She's doing a great job of getting turned on it and then doing a great job of getting the ball off her feet. I mean, I believe it was her that scored that goal for Heath a little while ago and just nearly created a new opportunity on a run through there for another opportunity for another goal as well.
Yeah, that ball is not crossing the 50 and hasn't in some time.
See, again, he's getting a little bit impatient. When they're winning the balls in the middle of the field, they're sending deep balls for somebody to try to run on as opposed to trying to connect passes, just sliding passes through zones, because there are zones there that are available for the Heath girls to slot balls through. It's just they're just dumping and chasing right now, which I don't think is in their best interest. Try to slot and connect passes. You've got forwards right now that are absolutely winning their matchups with their defenders that are marking them. But don't get impatient and just send deep balls.
Lady Jackets have crossed the 50. They don't get much further. I love watching these two coaches, the pace that they have to do. It's nerves, it's everything.
It's exhausting.
It's out to be. They have to take at least 1,000 steps every 5 minutes.
In my years as the girls varsity coach at Mesquite, and the district was fairly similar to what it is now.
Sure.
And my worst nightmare were Tuesday night games in Longview.
Whew.
And you go to Longview, and there was one particular year when I was coaching Mesquite, and we went to Longview, and we went to extra time, and then we went to penalty kicks, and it was 10:45 on a Tuesday night before we got back on the bus, and then you're staring at a 2.5-hour bus ride back, and you're exhausted before you even got on the bus.
Yeah.
And then you've still got to get back. You've got to get equipment put away. You've got to get game film uploaded into Huddle. You've got to do all. It's 2:00 in the morning before.
And you're
you
going
leave.
to school. You're up
and
in
then
3 hours.
I've got to get up and teach world geography or world history the next day, and it's like it was exhausting.
Absolutely. Of course, the district does not change much the next 2 years.
Right.
Adding Mesquite Horn, everything else stays the same. So, I know a lot of the football coaches were a little excited about adding another team to their 10-game schedule. So they don't have to schedule as many non-district games. They're ready to jump right into it. So, of course, football season will be here before you know it. It's the last week of August. That Friday, we will kick off our 2026 football season. So, schedules have not come out quite yet. They're still getting finalized. But when we get those, we will get those out to you. I know a lot of people have asked, why haven't we seen the schedule? And there's not going to be any out-of-town teams this year. I can tell you that. There's a big collision right there. 2 players down.
Yeah, absolutely.
That looked like head-to-head. And that clock is going to stop with 22:18 remaining in the second half as both coaches, the trainers have come out for both. Of course, we are relying on the Huddle camera tonight, so typically we would not have this on camera, but it is controlling itself, so we will throw a graphic up there so we're not having to see just in case. Looks like the Rockwall player is up and walking away. Heath player still down right on top of the 50. Rockwall player seems to be okay. I think that is, can't tell from here, but I would bet that it's Emerson. It is. Number 9, Emerson Bain.
Yep.
And the Heath player.
Well, you hope she's not too seriously injured because she's been a huge part of the attack for Rockwall tonight.
Looks like that is Shaw for Rockwall Heath, the freshman.
Nope, Briley Shaw.
Is that Briley?
Great kid.
And you just look at this roster and you just see freshman, sophomore, freshman, sophomore, freshman. That is going to be some good times at Rockwall Heath and girls soccer for the next few years if this is how good they are right now.
Well, again, I mean, Heath tonight starting 5 to 6 freshmen and 3 sophomores. I mean, the vast majority of their starting 11 are kids who are going to be in the program for another 2 or 3 years.
It's incredible.
And Rockwall, again, they've got 11 seniors in their program, but they've still got a good amount, 4 juniors, 4 sophomores, 3 freshmen on their roster. I mean, these are 2 teams that have been built incredibly well by their coaches to not only play for the present, but also built for the future because, it is, again, in my years as a high school soccer coach, whenever you have the validation to put freshmen on your varsity, it just is a bedrock for your program for the future. I mean, it's kids. If I've got freshmen and they don't get a majority of the playing time, but they're there in practice every day, and they get some
those reps.
They get key minutes in some matches. It just completely solidifies your program going forward. Those are the kids you're going to build around for 2 years, 3 years down the road. And both of these coaches have done just a masterful job of creating programs that understand that.
And you can look at both sides with Sarpy on the Rockwall side and Finley on the Heath side. Those two girls were both freshmen. They both, for Rockwall, it was very rare to see a freshman with that senior, junior loaded team here in the last couple of years. But to have her there and see what she could accomplish. And then, of course, Finley had to wait a year or two. She had a pretty good keeper in front of her in Maddie, but was able to sit behind her, learn from her, like you said, get the reps, see what's going on, and Sarpy the same way.
Yeah.
Didn't start, I don't think, her freshman year, if I can remember correctly, but she would come off the bench and just light it up. And so it's really good to see some of those freshmen and sophomore get those reps, sit there on the sideline and watch, the older girls get some reps and see what they can do. And then when their time is called, let's roll.
Yeah, and and both programs have a long history of doing that, even before Piper and Christoph were in charge. I mean, Melissa Garcia did a great job. I mean, heck, her state championship run team, she had two keepers that she brought both of them up as freshmen, and they both split playing time through 4 years of high school, and both went off, one to Texas Women's University, one to Sam Houston State, and became college keepers, and they shared time through their entire 4 years in high school. So,
which is really hard to do, to keep two of the same positions.
Yeah.
You're not getting full playing time, and to keep them both on the team for 4 years, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah. But I mean, and that's all part of understanding your job as a high school coach. Is my job is to this year, but my job is also to next year and the year after that as well. I'm building a foundation for a program here that's going to, outlast me regardless of how long I'm here. And you create those opportunities for kids at all levels.
Absolutely.
You let them earn that opportunity, and then you give it to them, and you let them make the most of it as they will.
Absolutely.
And we've been blessed in this district with a lot of coaches in a lot of different sports who have understood that.
Absolutely. It's not the district of doom just in football. It is the district of doom in almost every sport you can think of.
Yes.
It is dominant from top to bottom.
100%.
Really, in the last decade, it has been Rockwall and Rockwall Heath going toe-to-toe.
Well, you look at how great our softball programs have been at both Heath and at Rockwall, and then I looked at the Dallas Morning News today, and they came out with their preseason predictions, and it's like, Forney and Roy City are two of the top 10 teams in the entire Metroplex, and it doesn't even factor in Rockwall and Rockwall Heath, and both programs are expected to be really good this year, but yet they're having to compete with two of the best programs in the area.
Yep.
So, it's a district of doom in every single sport.
Well, if you get bored on Saturday, speaking of softball, over at UTA will take on Iowa State. And if you remember correctly, Ashley Miner, a former Lady Jacket, is playing softball there. She is a senior. She is going to take on baby Sis, who plays at UTA. She is a freshman this year. So a pretty cool little thing as Ashley wraps up her college career. We'll get to play against her sister, hopefully, if the weather acts right. It's supposed to be out of here by their first pitch at 3:30, I believe that is. They play twice, 3:30 and 5:30. So hopefully those two get to play against each other. That's a pretty cool little thing. I was talking to her mom the other day. They don't know if they're going to be able to reschedule it due to teams having to leave on planes and vice versa. But to have that is a pretty cool thing for the Miner family. So head on down to UTA or head on across to UTA. It takes about 2.5 hours to get there from Rockwall with all the traffic. So make sure you make yourself some time. Pretty cool little thing for the Miner sisters as one ends their college career, one just gets it going. So shout out to them.
What an amazing run both of those girls have had.
Oh yeah.
What if there's high school?
What if there's a betting wager on who plays better between the two of them?
I'm betting if there is, you'll find it.
We will find out, I'm sure. There'll be something. But that's two incredible athletes that came through Rockwall High School. Of course, Ashley was a part of that state championship run, the first ever run in Lady Jacket history. And of course, Taylor was a part of the regional final run 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Got ever so close to beating one of the number one ranked teams in the state last year in her senior year. They lost 1-0. Of course, that would have been one of the biggest upsets in the state if that would have went down. But
and both girls just some of the most amazing power hitting high school players I've ever seen. I mean, either girl could turn on the ball and go to either to right field or left field, either one, and go yard on you in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. They were a danger to pitch to, and they still are. Of course, Taylor getting her first collegiate hit this past weekend. So congratulations to her. Ashley coming off of a big-time elbow injury this year, so hopefully she can rock it out for her senior year and go out with a bang. She wants to get into sports management after she graduates.
So a little bit under 16 minutes left in the second half here. Still tied up 1-1. Heath struggling a little bit more over the last few minutes of being able to get the ball clear through midfield. I'm tending to notice that they're trying to funnel everything through Taylor Mumphrey a lot more than they did in the first half, which on one hand, I understand she's a key player and you want to try to funnel things, but the other hand is one of the things I worry about as a coach is you become too reliant on your best players. Let's just send the ball to her and let her work through it, and that becomes problematic for a continuous or a continuous offensive attack. I would like to see them maybe try to work off of Taylor Mumphrey, work the ball out wide to either one of their outside mids, and then have them funnel the ball back into Mumphrey as you're carrying the ball up the field. Right now, everybody's just running the ball through the middle of the field. Taylor Mumphrey, Rockwall, I think their experience has noticed that. Their two center backs are closing down on her in a heartbeat and not giving her any room to breathe. She can't get the ball turned, and that's really impacted Heath's ability to maintain possession here over the last 10 minutes or so.
Are you noticing the teams getting a little lethargic per se after running? I mean, it looked like the benches have really been touched tonight, so it's really starters on starters, at least for the most part. So,
yeah, to a certain degree, and that kind of goes to what I was just saying, that when you start to get a little bit tired, when you start to get a little bit flat-footed, you go back to let me find my best player, let me send the ball to her, let her go do her stuff, and that's fine sometimes, but if you're playing against an experienced team like the Lady Jackets, they're going to sniff that out really quickly. And I think Heath's kind of falling into that, and this may be a little bit of their inexperience. He's kind of falling into that trap of Taylor Mumphrey may be our most dynamic player. Let's send the ball to her. Let's let her go do stuff. Now, Heath has earned a corner kick here, which, as we've spoken about many times tonight, is a strong point for them. Let's see if they can make something out of this, because at least over the last 10 minutes, they haven't been able to connect a continuous offensive attack for Rockwall. So the ball comes in into great play. There it was. There you go. Heath did it again.
You called it.
Another corner, a well-played header right into the center of the box. Rockwall's keeper got caught a little bit on her right foot. She needed to be on the left foot, so it's a great job. Once again, I apologize. I can't tell you exactly who the header came off of. We're a little bit at too much of an elevation here, but it was a tremendous job from Heath. I mean, as we've talked about before, coming in tonight, they've scored 13 goals this season off corner kicks, and that shows you exactly why. That was played perfectly into the middle of the 6-yard box. You had a player perfectly aligned, header just to the back left post of the goal. Great job. Heath's now up 2-1 with 13 minutes left in the match.
So now you're probably going to see Rockwall kind of throw the kitchen sink at Heath and try to get that elusive goal that they're going to need. And of course, when you do that, you make a little more on the mistake side.
Yeah, you don't have a choice now.
Yep.
If you're Rockwall, there's
it's go time.
Yeah, as we said coming out of halftime, they could play a little bit more conservative, try to set on that lead a little bit. Heck, even if you come out 1-1 at the end of regulation, but now you're down 2-1, Rockwall's got to really press the accelerator now. And unfortunately, I'm not 100% sure that Rockwall has that kind of capability in them, because now you're going to be looking at, Heath, another great run, another great shot. Great opportunity right there, a well-placed ball. I believe that was Pearl Desser that was coming in there, another freshman that did a great job winning inside position for Heath. Shot went just a little bit wide right. But to my point, Rockwall's now got 12 minutes. They're down a goal. And, in all honesty, they haven't had a great consistent run offensively all night long. They're going to need to figure something out, and you can't just get into a dump and chase. You're not going to be able to just dump the ball into the offensive third of the field and run it down because he's got too much youth. They've got too much energy. They've definitely got too much adrenaline after taking the 2-1 lead to let you do that. So you're going to have to figure out how to do something that you haven't really done effectively all night long. So this is really going to come down to Rockwall figuring out how to start to connect passes and push the ball deep and keep it down there. Whether work on your own set plays, create your own opportunities for corner kicks or long throw-ins from deep inside the the attacking third of the field. So let's see what they do with it over the next few minutes.
Absolutely. Of course, the Lady Jackets and the Lady Hawks will meet once again on March the 10th. That'll be the second matchup between these two teams. That'll be over on the south side at Heath High School. Of course, as we mentioned, the Lady Jackets will be back to work on Tuesday after the 4-day layoff as the kids are out both tomorrow and Monday. And, of course, the Heath Hawks are going to be off for a whole week, 8 days, till they head off to Longview.
So Rockwall sets up with the goal kick now. 10.5 minutes left in the match. Be real interesting to see with these goal kicks. Do they try to play it? Well, that answers my question. I was going to say, do you try to play it short and maintain possession and build from the back? Or do you just send it into the middle of the field and hope that you maintain possession? And once again, Heath's controlled possession here. I fully expect that Heath, anytime they get the ball into the offensive third of the field, that if they don't have shots on goal, they'll be more than happy just to send the ball over the end line, have Rockwall chase it down, set up for a goal kick, and work from there. But in this particular instance, Heath worked the ball off of the Rockwall defender's foot. They've now set up another corner kick, which will now be their fifth corner kick of the match. Last one they scored on. Let's see what happens here. Another great ball into the middle of the 6. Another great header and a great save there from Presley Gray.
Presley saving the game right there for the Lady Jackets.
Very well could have been 3-1 right there off of that quality corner. Rockwall with the run deep and played from behind. That's going to be a foul. That's going to be a free kick from about the 25-yard line. So about 35 yards out for Rockwall. Probably a little bit far to play this free kick on the goal. But again, if you set up far side, this is a great opportunity to have a run and create an opportunity. This is going to be key for Rockwall over the next 8.5 minutes is take these set piece opportunities and make something out of them. Even if you don't score off the set piece, create an opportunity to score off of a deflection. A little bit low played there. And Heath does a great job of clearing the ball out across midfield.
Of course, the keeper for Rockwall, of course, a save like that will motivate your team. So we'll see if that helps motivate here in the final 8 minutes. Could be this the piece they needed to get that final goal to tie this thing up.
Well, Rockwall's got to find a level of intensity that's probably something that we haven't seen at least so far tonight because they've got to step up. Because again, whether you lose this match 3-1 or you tie it up 2-2, the amount you lose by is not relevant. You're still getting 0 points and the other team's getting 3. So at some point you have to understand we have to sell out. We have to do everything we can do to get this thing to 2-2 because losing 3-1 is not going to be nearly as impactful because when I look at the goals for and the goals against in the district, it's really not going to matter.
Absolutely.
Tyler Legacy is behind Rockwall right now in 5th place, and their goals for and goals against is not that significant. So losing this game 3-1 is not going to be near as impactful as tying this thing up 2-2 and going to penalty kicks or going to added time or, heck, even figuring out a way to win this game.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so you sell out. You do everything you've got to do right now. Send the ball up the field. You chase it down. You be aggressive. You do what you've got to do in the next 7 minutes to get a ball in the back of the net.
Of course, our Rockwall ISD sports marketing budget is semi-low right now, so we don't have a spotter, but it does look like that was a keeper change at halftime. That does look like it is Tristan in net as we started the second half, so our apologies on that, and to Tristan. That is Tristan in the goal for the Lady Jackets, so we do apologize.
Sorry, Huseman family.
So that is a big save for Tristan. If you want to help sponsor the Rockwall ISD Sports Network and get us a spotter, just make sure you give us a call or an email, and we'll make that happen.
Or just good binoculars.
Or good binoculars.
Yeah, or just the proper prescription from
we are 18,000 miles in the air here at Wilkerson, so there's a reason why they have spotters here for football. It is high up here. So with about 6 minutes to go.
Good ball from Rockwall there. Good ball from Cameron. All right, so 5.5 minutes left. Rockwall possessing after the throw-in, deep in their own defensive third of the field. Bringing the ball up, everything right. Oh, we got a free kick coming up.
If you're the Lady Jackets, the time is now. About 5 minutes to go. Of course, Coach McCreary heading out. Getting ready for track season. He's got to go home and study up.
All right, throwing from Heath. Maisie Marino there with the reception of the throw-in. Heath sends it back out of bounds. Emerson Bain with the throw-in. Heath maintains control, sends the ball down the field. Again, I think you're going to see a whole lot of this from Heath right now. Just clearing the ball out, getting it down into the Rockwall defensive third of the field, hoping to eat up as much clock as they possibly can.
Update from the Heath side of town, it is still 0-0. So that match just got started, second half.
Sophie Douglas missed a great opportunity there to win a ball and send it forward. Now she did win it back. Good job building up possession here. Good job, Sophie Douglas, with a good give and go. Emerson Bain sends it deep, but out of bounds. Heath will now have the throw in deep inside their own defensive third of the field. 3:50 left in the match. Heath still up 2-1.
Of course, Heath going ever so slowly there on the throw in. They know they're about 3 minutes away from a big-time victory against their rival.
They cleared it out. Real opportunity here. One-on-one deep in the Rockwall defensive third of the field. And sent out Rockwall with the throw in deep in their end of the field. He clears it back out. Looks like Sydney Warner with possession of the ball. Back out of bounds for a Heath throw in. Looks like it's going to be Pearl Desser on the throw in.
And a very, very slow walk by Pearl.
I've seen her walk that slow in the cafeteria. I've seen her walk that slow in the cafeteria and during passing period before, so I'm used to that. All right, 2:45 left. Heath would throw in deep inside the 18. Sent back out on a header from Rockwall. Pearl will throw the ball in once again for Heath.
Reggie, how cool is it to see, like you kind of already talked about for those that are just now tuning in, just kind of seeing all these girls have you seen in the hallways here at Utley, seeing the hallways at Kane. How cool is it to see these girls on the biggest stage in high school? It's
almost indescribable. I mean, all my years as a high school coach, but then for all the years I spent at Utley and then have now spent the last few years at Kane, that's the greatest part of it being an educator is all these kids are, and I've said this to every kid that's ever crossed my path, you're always my kid. And
right.
You're going to be my kid until you're sick of me. and I see these girls from Heath. I mean, so many of these girls for Heath I've crossed paths with over the last few years at Kane, and actually a couple of them I crossed paths with at Utley. Cassidy Swanner, who's a key player for Heath, one of their best juniors. Cassidy I had in class when I was at Utley, and then I look at the Rockwall girls, and so many of them. Cameron Hampton. Not only is she my neighbor, she lives around the corner from me, but I had her in class. Cameron and my daughter both share a voice teacher. They're both amazing vocalists, and Karis Baker is somebody I had in class, and I love her too. So the answer to your question is, it's why I come to these games when I don't actually have a biological child playing in them, because all of these are my kids, and it's the greatest feeling in the world to see your kids compete and see them compete against each other. And whether they win or lose, it's just you realize the experience is amazing for them. And whoever wins this game, whoever loses this game tonight, they're going to carry the memory of this game with them. I mean, it was me growing up in Garland, going to North Garland. I mean, I remember our losses to South Garland as much as I remember any wins we had against South Garland, because these games matter, because these are the kids you grow up with. These are the kids you love. And so I love this for them. I love to see them succeed. And oh my gosh.
That was
what a great save there from Sarah.
Off the crossbar, and that's the victory for the Lady Hawks.
And that's it. That's it. The final score is Rockwall Heath Lady Hawks win tonight 2-1 over the Rockwall High School Lady Jackets. What an amazing match. I mean, it absolutely came down to the very last second. The last shot on goal from Rockwall came off the crossbar. Just an absolutely amazing night tonight.
It's the Lady Hawks' first victory over the Rockwall Lady Jackets since 2023, so it has been a while since the Lady Hawks have come into Rockwall or won at home against these Lady Jackets. Of course, handshakes after the match. Of course, these two teams will see each other once again in about 3 weeks probably on March 10th.
Yep.
And they'll go at it again. Of course, there'll be a lot more on the line by then. Of course, these games do add up, so there are points on the line on this one, but the game's going to get even tighter as we keep going through the second half of district play. Of course, these two teams will go their separate ways for a couple weeks. Of course, the Lady Jackets are back at it next Tuesday. Lady Hawks on the field celebrating on their rivals' field. Of course, they will not get going again until next Friday, so a nice 8-day layover break for the Lady Hawks till they start going again here in district play. So, Reggie, final thoughts on this one? Of course, a score. I got to shout out to my mom; she's watching as well. So, shout out to Mama Curtis. But
real quick thoughts. I mean, whenever you watch, it doesn't matter what sport it is: basketball, football, soccer, whatever the sport may be. You always think about when you go into halftime, you make halftime adjustments. How do we do things different in the second half? How do we clean things up in the second half? That's the great thing about soccer. As all my years as a high school soccer coach, it's the midpoint of district, because you play all the teams one time in the first half of district. You play them all again the second time in the second half of district. So both of these teams are kind of at the midpoint of district right now. It's kind of halftime for district play. Doesn't matter where you're at in the standings right now. It matters, what did you learn in the first half of district play? What are we going to do different when we play Forney in the second half of district? What are we going to do different when we play Royce City in the second half of district? What are we going to do different when we face off against Heath or Rockwall 3-4 weeks from now? That's the key. And so the first half of district is all about jockeying for position, but more importantly, it's about learning who you are and learning who your opponents are. And so it really comes down to the coaching right now. What adjustments do you make as you go into the second half of district? What do you do different the next time around than what you did the first time around.
Of course, and if you're Piper and the Lady Hawks, you got to feel good about this victory. The talk is real.
And the fact that all your players are like 11 years old.
Yes, exactly. I mean, you got to feel good. Obviously, the hype. This is only my second time coming to see them so far this year, and the hype is real. This is a really good soccer team, and they're going to have a lot to say going forward. Of course, Lady Jackets are good as well, and they're gonna take this game and go home and learn on it. And they're right there in the thick of things in 10-6A. So these two teams are going to be battling it out for those top 4 spots. Of course, top 4 make the playoffs. So,
I have no doubt both these teams are playoff teams. It's just a matter of where they work their way out at the end of district play, because that makes all the difference in the world. If you're the 4th place team, you're going to have a much tougher road to hoe. If you're the 1st place or 2nd place team, not as much so. So it's about positioning, but I feel fully confident both these teams have the opportunity to be playoff teams this year.
Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight to the Rockwall ISD Sports Network and our very first soccer match. We hope you enjoyed your time with us. Reggie, your first ever soccer match to call.
I've called football games before. I've never not been on the sidelines for a soccer match. This is incredibly weird for me.
So, did you like it though? That's
because
the question.
I
didn't
don't
like it. Okay.
No, because when I'm on the sidelines, my poor vision doesn't impact me.
The vision is tough up here.
I can't not even see what color the players' jerseys are.
Well, maybe we can get.
We'll figure that out.
We can get someone else. Maybe Coach Gar will come up here and help do a little spotting for us.
We'll figure that out before the next match.
Well, Reggie, we appreciate you jumping in. Hopefully, we get to do this again here absolutely pretty soon. For the Rockwall ISD Sports Network, we will be back in action sometime next week. We do apologize. We will not have the Rockwall versus Royce City game tomorrow night, basketball game. We are limited on staff. We do not have a full staff for that game tomorrow, but we will have a crew there to be able to take photos and video update along the way. So we will be able to update you on that. So we do apologize for that. We will be back in action next Monday night. The Lady Jackets will be taking on Wiley in a bi-district basketball showdown. That will be at Berkner High School. That basketball tip-off, I believe, is at 7:15. We will get that information out to you very soon. We will update you throughout the weekend. We are sending a crew down to the Houston area for Wrestling State, so we'll update you on those medal winners as we go throughout the weekend. Safe travels to our very own Lisa Trammell going for that trip as well. And that's our week so far. We will have more action, of course, later on in the week, next week. So we are always up and going, and we will make sure we get that posted for you on our social medias to make sure everything is rocking and rolling. We appreciate everybody for watching. For all of our sponsors that are able to sponsor us each and every broadcast, we appreciate you. We love you. And congratulations to the Lady Hawks of Rockwall Heath. They win 2-1 against their rivals, the Rockwall Lady Jackets. For Reggie Webb, I'm Chris Curtis. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, you guys.